simple concept. A concept which is so easy to understand, because when you look at Jahane Rangobu, nature, what do we find there except diversity? No two flowers are alike, no two trees are alike, and no two human beings are alike. So in one sense, the initiative that has been taken by my friend Professor Siddiq Wahid and his colleagues is commendable. But also, if you think very deeply about it, it should not have been necessary if we had the right kind of understanding of ourselves as human beings. But today's topic is one aspect of it, which is diversity in the Muslim world. Muslims are a global community. Their total number, according to data which is available, is around 1.6 billion. 66% of them live in Asia. 15% in what we know as West Asia, or what Europe calls Middle East. 20% in Africa. India has the second largest Muslim population of Muslims after Indonesia. The number in India, to my understanding, is around 190 million. Now, Muslims are united in their belief and in their language of religion, but diverse in mother tongues, historical experiences, manners, and customs. This is unavoidable given the spread across the globe. Muslims also subscribe to different schools of jurisprudence that developed later. And they relate, to my humble understanding, with due respect to the dignitaries here, they relate to secondary matters. Historical accidents have crystallized these into hardcore beliefs and practices. Despite these, the unity of faith is best demonstrated at the time of the annual pilgrimage of the Hajj, when pilgrims from all parts of the globe observe the same ritual. So, it can be said that there is unity in diversity and there is diversity in unity. Islam as a faith has been in India, as has been said by Mahmud Mandani Sahab, for a long time, over 1,000 years. The manifestations of Muslim life in India over this period depicts adaptability, creativity, and diversity. It has identified India, it has identified with India without ceasing to be Islamic. It is, in that sense, sui generis. Its experience, nevertheless, can be a model to emulate in other multicultural multi-religious societies around the world. I may add that it is perhaps our failure that we have not been able to portray this as a model to others and, of course, to ourselves. We lose our way in secondary matters, but this model of living together with diversity, is absolutely unique and is rarely found anywhere else in the world. So I'm very glad this initiative has been taken, a microcosmic initiative, but nevertheless a very important initiative which needs to be taken further. And if you, as Mahmood Manani Sahab said, if you want to see the impact of that diversity, please go to the shrine in Ajmer or even nearer in New Delhi itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words and for speaking today. His Holiness will not remember, but I met him at about the age of 13 with a group of young Tibetans. And at that time, I was a somewhat disheveled schoolboy, and he said something to me about practicing my religion and practicing it well, my religion of Islam. And about almost exactly 10 years after that, I came across some writings which not only highlighted that moment when His Holiness spoke those words to me, but have stayed with me throughout. And that is that to practice one religion implicitly, one religion explicitly, it means on the outside, Zahiriya, on a Zahiriya level, is to practice them all implicitly at the internal level. And it has stayed with me throughout. So I have never been able to thank His Holiness for it, and I thank him today for that great teaching. And I think that this is what we have learned in what all our theologians have been saying to us today, this morning. And may their advice sort of engrave itself in Ladakh, in the state of J&K, and India and South Asia as a whole. Thank you very much for your attendance. I would like to now invite everybody to lunch, which will be a 1-hour affair. But prior to that, because His Holiness may or may not be here later in the afternoon, I would like to prefer a vote of thanks. First of all, of course, to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for suggesting, urging, inspiring, monitoring, and making sure that many of us did our jobs. I would also like to thank Mr. Hamid Ansari Sahab for having come and graced the occasion for us. We know that even though he is retired, he is not really retired, he's just tired. And so I'm glad to see him that way. I would also like to begin, when you are around His Holiness, and I have been from a distance quite a lot, we also learn some lessons. So I think I will begin my thanks after these two eminences by thanking those who have served tea, and we'll be serving lunch and then tea again. I'd like to thank Sumit and his team who were here until about 11 o'clock last night, I believe, setting up the India International Center venue. I would like to thank Zainab Akhtar and her team, if she is here, for the sort of volunteering and coming, the photographers, the audiovisual people who were there last night, all the way until about 11 o'clock or so. I know that there are many journalists amongst us who are going to report, and I'm thankful to them. I must not forget a very quiet and note-taking person, somebody by the name of Nimala, who was helping us all along, has been reminding us very gently and so forth for everything. I would like to thank Mustafa Abdu Saib, who has designed the logo as well as the sort of visuals that you see, and who is from Ladakh, an artist in his own right, and who has, I think, I mean, if you ever go to Ladakh, you must see his work, blended the traditions very beautifully in his own work of art, painting. I would, of course, like to thank Dempa Seringla for his cajoling, his very quiet manner of reassuring us, and also making sure that all things go well. And I think he has done that already. And of course, the Office of His Holiness Dalai Lama, which has supported this initiative with great help. And so I think all these people need to be thanked in the presence of His Holiness and Ansari Saab today. And last but not least, I'm not going to thank all of you, because we need to have the afternoon sessions, which I assure you will be very stimulating, because we have, I think, some brilliant people who will be speaking on it, and who I'll have the pleasure of introducing. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll call this first very long morning session to an end. And I would invite everybody to lunch, which is being out here, served out here in the patio. And we'll be back here in about 1 hour exactly. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. My apologies. I think our guest. But they also have some gifts for His Holiness and Ansari Saab, which they would like to give right now. So if we could just wait until that happens.